The world was not always silent. Once, there were rivers, forests, and songs of people who lived without fear. But now, fire ruled the land. Endless flames moved like storms across the broken earth, leaving only ash and smoke behind. The sky was black, the ground cracked, and no laughter remained. In this ruined place, something old still lived. It was the last of its kind, the ancient dragon. Its scales were dark like burnt stone, and its eyes glowed with a deep golden light. The dragon was a creature of fire, born from the heart of mountains, yet it carried wisdom far older than the storms that now destroyed the planet. The dragon had seen empires fall. It had watched humans rise and then vanish into dust. For centuries, it did not move. It only lay in the shadows of broken towers, waiting for the end. But fate was not finished. One night, as the firestorm came again, the dragon saw something strange. A sound. A cry. It was weak, almost lost in the roar of flames. The dragon turned its head and saw a small figure stumbling through the smoke. It was a child, a human child, no older than 7. The child's face was covered with ash, tears mixed with dust, and their small body shook with fear. The child had no one. No mother. No father. Only the endless fire that wanted to swallow everything. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Humans had once hunted dragons. They had built machines to kill them, weapons to pierce even the hardest scales. The dragon remembered the screams, the betrayal, the pain. Why then should it care for this fragile creature of flesh and bone? The firestorm grew louder. Flames danced higher. The child fell to the ground, coughing, too weak to stand again. The storm rushed forward, ready to burn the small body to ash. And then, the dragon moved. With one heavy step, then another, it placed itself between the storm and the child. Its great wings spread wide, forming a shield of scales. The fire struck the dragon, but the flames did no harm. It was fire's master. The dragon bent down, lowering its huge head. Its golden eyes met the child's. The child looked up. In that moment, the fear in their face changed. They were still shaking, still afraid, but now there was something else. Hope. The dragon did not speak with words. It had no human tongue. But its gaze was enough. The message was clear: you will not burn tonight. The firestorm raged for hours. The dragon did not move. Its wings, scarred from battles long ago, held strong. Behind them, the child lay in safety, shielded from the last flame of the world. When the storm finally ended, silence returned. Smoke drifted in the air, and the ground was covered with glowing embers. The dragon folded its wings and looked back at the child. The child was alive. Tired. Hungry. Afraid. But alive. Slowly, with shaky hands, the child reached forward and touched one of the dragon's scales. The scale was hard and hot, yet it carried no pain. The dragon did not pull away. For the first time in centuries, the ancient dragon felt something it thought was gone. Not rage. Not sorrow. But a reason to move again. It lowered its head, allowing the child to rest against its side. The small figure curled close, as if the dragon's body was a wall against the empty world. The dragon closed its eyes. Somewhere deep inside, in the part of its heart that was not made of fire, a question burned brighter than any flame. Why had it protected this one child when it had let all others fall? The answer did not come. But the dragon knew this: the fire of the world would return, stronger than before. And when it did, the last dragon and the last child would face it together. The night grew cold. Stars broke through the smoke above. The world was dying, but a bond had been born, silent, fragile, yet unbroken. The child slept. The dragon watched. And in the ruins of fire, a new story began. The morning after the firestorm was quiet. Smoke still floated in the air, and the ground was black with ash. Nothing moved, no birds, no beasts. Only 2 figures remained, the ancient dragon and the small human child who had survived the night. The child woke slowly, eyes heavy, body weak. Hunger pressed inside their stomach, but there was no food. They sat up and looked around. The world was dead, only broken stones and shadows. But the dragon was still there, watching. Its golden eyes glowed like 2 suns in the dark. The child did not run. Fear was there, yes, but something else had grown stronger. Trust. The dragon tilted its head, studying the fragile creature beside it. For centuries, dragons had been hunted. For centuries, humans had shown only cruelty. And yet this child did not scream, did not hide. They only stood, shaking, staring up at a beast older than mountains. The dragon breathed slowly, smoke curling from its nose. It wanted to speak, but dragons did not use human words. Instead, it lowered its head until its eye was close to the child. The child stepped forward, unsure but brave, and placed a hand on the great scale again. The moment they touched, something passed between them. It was not speech. It was not thought. It was a feeling, warm, steady, and calm. The dragon's soul brushed against the child's heart. The child gasped. They felt no fear now, only safety, as if a wall of fire stood around them, protecting them from the broken world. Days passed. The dragon did not leave. The child did not wander away. They stayed together among the ruins. The dragon hunted what little life was left, giant rats hiding in tunnels, small roots buried under the dirt. It brought them to the child, dropping the food with a low growl. The child, though weak, survived. In return, the child stayed close when the storms came. Every night, when the flames moved across the horizon, the dragon shielded the child with its wings. And every night, the child pressed against its side, whispering soft words the dragon could not understand. But the dragon understood the feeling. A bond had been formed. One evening, as the smoke cleared, the child sat holding something small in their hands. It was a pendant, a silver circle with strange marks carved into it. The child clutched it tightly, staring at it as if it held all their memories. The dragon lowered its head, curious. Its golden eyes glowed brighter when it saw the pendant. The marks on the silver were not random. They were ancient symbols, older than the child's people, older even than the dragon's own kind. The dragon's chest rumbled with unease. This was no ordinary trinket. The child, unaware of the dragon's thoughts, lifted the pendant and whispered, "Mother, Father." Their voice broke. Tears slipped down their ash-covered cheeks. The dragon did not know the words, but it felt the sorrow. It reached out with its mind, sending a wave of warmth, of comfort. The child felt it. Slowly, their sobs grew quiet. They leaned against the dragon once more, holding the pendant tight. The dragon closed its eyes. Deep inside, old memories stirred, memories of the Great War. Machines of steel falling from the sky. Flames tearing cities apart. Humans running, fighting, dying. And in the center of it all, these same symbols carved into stone, into weapons, into keys of power. The dragon realized the truth. This child was not just lucky to survive. They carried something important, something dangerous. The firestorms were not natural. The dragon knew that. They were weapons. Tests. Warnings. The machines that once burned the world were not gone. They would return. And when they came, they would search for this pendant, and the child who carried it. The dragon lifted its head and looked at the stars hidden behind the smoke. The silence of the night pressed hard. It had thought its duty was finished, its battles ended. But fate had chosen differently. Now the last dragon had a choice: leave the child to die, or protect them against the coming storm. Its golden eyes turned back to the small figure asleep beside it, the pendant glowing faintly under the moonlight. The dragon already knew the answer. It curled its body closer around the child, forming a wall of scales and wings. It listened to the child's small breaths as they dreamed. And in that moment, for the first time in centuries, the dragon felt something almost forgotten. Hope. But far away, beyond the smoke, a sound echoed in the sky. A low hum, cold and metallic. Machines were moving again. The dragon opened its eyes. Its golden gaze burned like fire. The bond between dragon and child was no longer just survival. It was a promise. And when the machines returned, the world would see that even the last flame could not be killed so easily. The nights grew shorter. The storms came more often. And always, the ancient dragon stood as a shield for the child. But something new had entered the air, an unnatural sound that did not belong to wind or fire. It was a hum. Cold. Mechanical. The child heard it first while gathering small roots among the ruins. They froze, clutching the silver pendant close to their chest. The sound grew louder, like 1,000 wings beating together, but no bird lived in this dead world. The dragon lifted its head. Smoke curled from its nose as its golden eyes searched the horizon. Then, the hum became a roar. Shapes appeared above the clouds. Dark machines, their metal bodies glowing with red lights, descended slowly from the sky. The dragon's chest rumbled, not in fear, but in rage. It remembered them. Long ago, these machines had come in swarms. They had burned forests, crushed mountains, and turned oceans to poison. They had not come to conquer. They had come to erase. To cleanse. To destroy all life until silence was the only sound left. The humans of the old world had fought bravely, but their cities fell like sandcastles in the tide. Even dragons, powerful and proud, could not stand against the endless metal armies. One by one, the great beasts were hunted down, until only one dragon remained. And now, that dragon stood again in the ashes of a dead world, staring at the enemy that had once killed its kin. The child stepped back, shaking. Their small voice whispered, "They found me." The dragon turned its golden gaze to the child. The pendant around their neck glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. The machines were not just hunting life. They were hunting this. The dragon lowered its head, sending a wave of warmth through the bond. "Do not fear." The child felt the meaning inside their heart, even though no words were spoken. But fear could not be erased so easily. The machines came closer, their shapes clear now, tall metal beasts with legs like spears and arms ending in burning cannons. Their eyes were red circles, empty of soul, filled only with commands to kill. The dragon spread its wings, each one scarred by old battles. Fire licked between its teeth. For centuries, it had waited in silence, broken and alone. But tonight, the fire inside its chest returned. The enemy had come back. The machines landed. Their legs sank into the ash as they formed a circle around the ruins. The child clung to the dragon's side, holding the pendant so tightly that their hands bled. A voice came from the machines, not human, not alive. Cold, empty, sharp. Subject located. Extraction protocol initiated. Eliminate interference. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Interference. That was what they called it. That was what they called the last living guardian of the world. The first machine raised its arm. A red beam lit the smoke. The child gasped, pulling closer to the dragon. And then, the dragon roared. It was not just a sound, it was a storm. The ground shook, the air trembled, and fire burst from the dragon's throat like the breath of a volcano. The nearest machine melted in the flames, its metal body turning red, then white, then falling into glowing shards. The others moved fast, faster than the child's eyes could follow. Their cannons fired beams of energy that cut through the ruins like knives of light. The dragon twisted, wings wide, fire meeting beam in a clash of heat and power. The child fell to the ground, covering their ears, but their eyes never left the battle. The dragon moved with strength the child had never imagined, striking machines with claws, smashing them with its tail. But for every enemy that fell, 2 more descended from the sky. The child's pendant glowed brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the machine's attacks. It was not just a treasure. It was a beacon. The dragon realized it too late. The machines were not hunting the last living child. They were following the pendant. The child gasped as the truth struck them. Their parents had given them this pendant before the firestorms swallowed their city. They had said only one thing, run, and never let it go. But why? What power was hidden inside this small piece of silver that could draw the machines across the stars? The dragon fought harder, its body glowing with fire. But for every machine destroyed, more arrived. The child screamed, "Stop! Please stop!" Their voice carried not to the machines, but to the dragon. And the dragon understood. This battle could not be won, not here, not now. If it fell tonight, the child would die too, and the pendant would be taken. The last hope would vanish. The dragon turned, smashing a machine aside, and bent its head to the child. Golden eyes burned with a message clear as fire, "Hold tight." The child wrapped their arms around the dragon's neck, the pendant pressed between them. With a powerful beat of its wings, the dragon rose into the black sky, fire trailing behind it. The machines roared below, beams flashing through the night, but the dragon climbed higher, higher, carrying the child away from the circle of death. The wind tore at them, the air burned, but the dragon did not stop. Its wings, though heavy with scars, carried them beyond the storm. Far below, the machines regrouped. The hum grew louder, filling the air once again. They would not stop. They never stopped. The dragon knew this fight was not finished. As the stars flickered through the smoke, the child held the pendant and whispered, "Why me? Why are they after me?" The dragon gave no answer. But in its golden eyes, one truth shone bright. The child was not ordinary. They were the key. The dragon flew for hours, wings beating against the heavy air. Ash clouds moved like rivers in the sky, hiding the stars. Below, the world burned, ruins glowing red, rivers of fire twisting through dead cities. The child clung to the dragon's neck, eyes closed, pendant pressed tight to their chest. The machine's hum still echoed in their ears. Even though the dragon had carried them far away, the fear would not leave. At last, the dragon landed on a high cliff where the flames had not yet reached. The ground was cracked but stable. Ancient stone pillars stood broken, half buried in ash. This place was quiet, almost sacred. The child slid down carefully, legs shaking. Their body was weak, their face pale. The dragon lowered its head, nudging them gently with its nose. A low rumble passed through the bond. Rest. You are safe. But the child shook their head. Safe? No, they'll come again. They always come. Their small hand lifted the silver pendant, its strange symbols shining faintly. They are looking for this. The dragon's eyes glowed brighter. The bond carried its thoughts, curiosity, warning, and fear. The child sat on the cracked stone and stared at the pendant. Memories, broken and painful, returned like whispers in smoke. They remembered fire swallowing their city. The screams of people running. Their parents, two faces filled with love and terror, kneeling before them. Their mother had pressed the pendant into their hands. Never lose this, she had said, voice shaking. One day, it will show you the truth. Their father had added only one word, run. And then the machines had come. Red lights. Beams of fire. The roar of death. The child remembered running, crying, never looking back. That was the last time they saw their parents. Tears burned the child's eyes now. They curled their fingers around the pendant, whispering, "Why me? Why this?" The dragon lowered its great head beside them. Its golden eye reflected the pendant's glow. It could not speak human words, but the bond carried meaning. The key, it is old, older than the fire, older than me. The child looked up in shock. Older than you. The dragon gave a slow nod. The child blinked. If even the ancient dragon, born before kingdoms, older than mountains, called the pendant ancient, then what was it really? That night, the child could not sleep. They traced the strange marks on the silver, again and again. The more they looked, the more they felt something, like heat under the skin, like a heartbeat that was not their own. Suddenly, the pendant grew hot in their hand. Light spilled from the marks, flooding the ruins with a soft white glow. The dragon lifted its head sharply, eyes blazing. Fire curled from its teeth, not in anger but in alarm. The child gasped. The light wrapped around them, lifting them an inch above the ground. For a moment, they felt as if their heart was no longer their own. Their eyes burned with visions. They saw cities buried under mountains. They saw machines tearing worlds apart. And they saw something else, humans building the pendant in secret, whispering words of hope. If all is lost, let this key awaken the guardian. Let one life carry the fire of many. The light vanished. The child collapsed, breathing hard, the pendant still glowing faintly. The dragon stepped closer, lowering its head. Through the bond came a question. What did you see? The child shook, voice barely a whisper. They made this. My parents. No, not just them. Long before. Humans. They built it. They called it a key. A key to something hidden. The dragon's chest rumbled with deep unease. If the pendant was a key, then what was the lock? The child curled against the dragon's side, trembling. They had answers now, but the answers only brought more fear. The machines would never stop hunting them. Not until the pendant was in their hands. Not until the key was destroyed, or used. The dragon's golden eyes turned to the horizon. Far away, red lights glowed faintly in the night sky. The machines had not given up. They were searching, moving, preparing. The dragon spread its wings slightly, as if ready to fly again. But it did not leave. Its gaze fell back to the child. The bond carried one truth: we cannot run forever. The child held the pendant tightly. Their small voice, though weak, carried determination. Then we don't run. We fight. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Fire glowed deep in its throat. It had thought its battles were finished long ago. But the child's words struck something inside it, something buried under centuries of silence. Hope. Defiance. Flame. The dragon lowered its head, pressing its forehead gently against the child's. For a moment, dragon and human stood as one, two fragile lives against the endless machines. And somewhere deep in the ruins below the cliff, stone cracked. A faint hum stirred under the earth, answering the pendant's glow. The child gasped. The dragon's eyes blazed. The key had already begun to unlock something. The earth shook. It was not thunder. It was not fire. It was something older, something hidden deep beneath the ash. The child and the dragon stood on the broken cliff as cracks spread across the stone. A low hum rose from the ground, the same hum that came from the machines, but this sound felt different. It was alive. The pendant around the child's neck glowed brighter, answering the hum. The dragon's golden eyes blazed as it felt the bond stir with new power. The child stepped back, clutching the silver key. "It's waking up," they whispered. "Something below us, something they wanted to keep hidden." The dragon rumbled, smoke curling from its nose. "Yes. But not everything hidden is safe." The ground split open. Light poured out of the cracks, not red like the machines, but gold and white. Slowly, ancient structures rose from the ash. Towers of stone and steel, covered with symbols that matched the marks on the pendant, lifted into the air as if the earth itself was breathing again. The child's eyes widened. "This is human." The dragon nodded. It remembered. Long ago, when the machines first came, humans had built secret weapons, guardians buried under the world. Most had been destroyed before they could awaken. But perhaps one had survived. Before the child could speak again, the night sky turned red. The machines had found them. Dark shapes descended like falling stars, their metal wings cutting through the clouds. Their red eyes locked onto the rising structures, and their voices echoed cold through the smoke. "Target located. Key detected. Terminate resistance." The child froze in fear. The dragon spread its wings, roaring a challenge that shook the ruins. Fire burst from its throat, lighting the sky like a second sun. The battle began. Beams of red light rained down from the machines, striking the cliff and shattering stone. The dragon leapt into the air, claws tearing through one machine, fire melting another. Its body was scarred, its strength not what it once was, but its rage burned brighter than ever. The child ran to the center of the rising structures. The pendant pulsed in their hands, glowing in rhythm with the hum of the earth. Their heart pounded. They didn't know what to do, but their body moved as if guided by the voices of the past. "Awaken," they whispered. "Please awaken." The pendant blazed. The ground shook harder. From beneath the ruins, a giant form rose, a machine, but not like the others. Its body was covered in stone and steel, marked with human symbols, powered not by cold silence but by fire. It was an ancient weapon. A guardian built by human hands, left sleeping for centuries. The machines in the sky screamed in their metallic voices, "Anomaly detected. Immediate destruction required." They swarmed, red beams cutting through the night. The dragon fought desperately, wings torn by fire, claws dripping with molten metal. But there were too many. For every enemy destroyed, 10 more came. The child stood at the base of the awakened guardian, pendant raised high. Light spilled from their small body, connecting them to the giant. The marks on its stone chest glowed, answering the pendant's call. The dragon looked down at the child, its golden eyes burning with a single truth: this is the moment. The child is the fire the machines cannot kill. The guardian moved. Its chest opened, revealing a heart of pure flame. A beam of golden fire shot into the sky, tearing through the swarm. Dozens of machines melted instantly, their bodies falling like black rain. The child cried out as the pendant burned hotter, its energy flowing through them. The guardian's power was their power, and their small bodies shook with the weight of it. The dragon dove beside them, shielding the child with its massive wings. Fire spilled from its jaws, joining the guardian's light. For the first time in centuries, human and dragon fought side by side. The war was reborn. The machines screamed, their voices sharper, angrier. Resistance unacceptable. Terminate at all cost. They unleashed their strongest weapons, beams of red fire that split the sky. The dragon twisted, taking one beam full in the chest. Its scales cracked, smoke rising from the wound. But still it roared, still it fought. The child screamed, "No!" Their pendant blazed with unbearable light. The guardian's chest opened wider, flames pouring out in a storm that scorched the heavens. The machines fell, one after another, their cold bodies burning in the golden fire. The earth trembled. The sky burned. The dead world came alive again, if only for a moment, with the roar of fire and the cry of defiance. And then, silence. The last of the machines fell smoking into the ash. The guardian stood tall, its chest glowing faintly, its power nearly spent. The dragon, wings torn, scales cracked, landed heavily beside the child. Its breath came slow, but its eyes still glowed with fire. The child dropped to their knees, holding the pendant, tears running down their face. They had survived. But at what cost? The dragon lowered its head, pressing its nose gently against the child. The bond carried a single message: not over. Not yet. The child looked up at the guardian towering above them, its fire dimming. They realized something terrible: the machines were not finished. This was only one battle. More would come. The pendant grew heavy around their neck. They understood now. They were not just a survivor. They were chosen. And the machines would never stop hunting them. The night was quiet again. Too quiet. The battle had ended, but the world did not feel safe. Smoke drifted in the air, glowing red under the broken sky. The guardian stood tall above the ruins, its chest dim with fading fire. The dragon lay at its base, wings torn, scales cracked, each breath heavy. The child knelt beside the dragon, clutching the pendant with trembling hands. Tears fell silently onto the beast's wounded scales. "Don't leave me," the child whispered. "Please, not you too." The dragon opened one golden eye. The bond pulsed, weak but clear. "I will not leave. Not while you need me." But both of them knew the truth. The dragon's body was breaking. The ancient wounds of old wars had never healed, and tonight's battle had torn them open again. Even fire had limits. Above them, the clouds shook. Red lights flickered in the sky. The machines were not finished. A cold voice echoed from above: "Resistance unacceptable. Deploy final unit." From the darkness, a shape larger than any before descended. A war machine, vast as a mountain, its body bristling with weapons, its eyes glowing like twin suns of blood. The air trembled with its power. The child's heart froze. The guardian raised its arms, but its fire was almost gone. The dragon struggled to rise, but its body shuddered. The child stood, pendant burning in their hand. They faced the sky, voice breaking but strong. "No more. You've taken enough. You won't take this world." The pendant blazed. Light shot into the guardian's chest. Its fire roared back to life, brighter than before. The child felt the energy tear through their body, painful, overwhelming, but unstoppable. The guardian lifted its arms and fired a storm of golden fire into the sky. The great war machine answered with red beams that split the night. Fire and light clashed, shaking the earth. The dragon staggered forward, wings spreading wide. It lifted its head one last time, fire burning deep in its throat. Through the bond, it spoke not with words, but with pure feeling: "I will shield you, little one. Until the end." The dragon leapt into the air, roaring with all the strength it had left. Its fire joined the guardians, striking the giant machine in a blaze so bright it turned the night into day. The enemy screamed in metallic rage, but the dragon did not stop. Beams cut through its body, scales shattered, wings torn apart, but still it fought, still it burned. The child screamed, tears blinding their eyes. They felt the dragon's pain through the bond, felt its fire fading. Yet in that pain was something greater: love, sacrifice, and the will to protect. The pendant grew white-hot, almost melting in the child's hands. The guardian's fire swelled higher, fueled by the bond between human and dragon. The ancient key had awakened not just a weapon, but a legacy. The dragon gave one final roar, a sound so powerful it seemed to split the heavens. With it, all its remaining fire burst out, pouring into the child and the guardian. The child cried out as light engulfed them. The guardian's chest opened wide, releasing a storm of golden fire unlike any seen before. It tore through the sky, struck the great machine, and shattered it into burning fragments that fell like meteors across the dead world. Silence followed. The guardian stood trembling, then slowly sank back into the earth, its duty fulfilled. The pendant cooled in the child's hand, the glow fading to a soft pulse. The child turned, heart breaking. The dragon lay on the ground, still and broken. Its golden eyes dimmed, yet not dark. The child rushed forward, falling against its side, sobbing. "Don't leave me, please." The dragon's chest rose once more. The bond carried a final message, gentle, warm, eternal. "I was the last flame. But you are the fire reborn." Its eyes closed. Its body turned still. The child clung to the dragon, crying until no tears were left. The world felt empty, but the bond did not vanish. Deep inside, they still felt the warmth, the echo of the dragon's soul. The dawn came. For the first time in years, Sunlight broke through the clouds of ash. The child stood slowly, pendant in hand, and looked to the horizon. The machines were gone, for now. The battle was won, but the war was not finished. They were alone. Yet not truly. In their heart, the dragon's fire still burned. The child walked down the broken cliff, small against the endless ruins. But their steps were steady, their eyes filled with the golden light of the bond. Legends would later say that the last dragon did not die that night. Its soul lived on in the child, guiding them, guarding them, waiting for the day when fire would rise again against the endless machines. The story of the ancient dragon was over. But the story of the child of ash had just begun.